Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I am Arif, your cloud learning journey partner. In today's video, we're going to cover a very interesting topic, that is top 7 security best practice in cloud environment in 2023. So the question could be why we need to be concerned about security whenever we are talking about cloud. Well, when an organization moves their application to a cloud environment, their main concern is whether the environment is secure, whether the data they are transferring to the cloud environment is secure. So whenever we are talking about a cloud architecture or a cloud environment, security is the main concern. So in today's video, we're gonna figure it out. So today's video, I'm gonna list down 7 security best practices that will help us make sure that our environment is secure enough to host our very critical application. So before starting the video, I just want to talk about myself. Well, I'm Arif. I do have more than 8 years of experience in cloud computing. I hold multiple certification in AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. Beside that, I also hold CISSP and CCSP certification. Well, this channel is all about cloud computing, cloud security, and cybersecurity. So if you are interested in these topics, this channel is definitely for you. I'm gonna upload videos in a very regular basis. So please guys, like and subscribe to my channel so that you can see my upcoming videos. Well, without further delay, let's get started. The very first security best practice in cloud environment is to have a strong authentication system. So whenever we are talking about the strong authentication system, the first thing that we need to make sure that our IAM, identity and access management, requires a very complex and strong password. And beside that, if we create any sort of access keys under our IAM users, we need to make sure that the access keys are managed in a very secure manner. It's very likely if even for a single second, if you store your access keys in your GitHub repo, your account will get compromised, because there are bots always running to find this sort of access keys. And the last thing that I want to mention about authentication system is that please use MFA, that is for multi-factor authentication. So even if your password gets compromised, your account won't get any sort of problem, because it is protected by multi-layer. So please enable the MFA for your AWS or any sort of cloud environment account. The second security best practice in cloud environment is to enable data encryption. So whenever we're talking about data encryption, we are mainly talking about two different type of data encryption. One is data encryption at rest, and another is data encryption in transit. So when we are storing our data in a storage system on cloud, but we're not utilizing it, then we call it data at rest. So for an instance, suppose you have created an EC2 server to host an application, and the EC2 server must have to have a storage volume, that is EBS storage volume. We need to make sure that our EBS storage volume is protected by enabling the data at rest feature, data encryption at rest feature. So if you enable it, even though if for some reason if our EBS volume got compromised, the data inside the EBS volume will be protected, because we enabled the data encryption at rest. And the second one is data in transit. So whenever our data is moving from one segment to another, one network to another, we need to make sure we do have data at transit enabled. What do you mean by data in transit? Well, we are talking about the SSL certificate, the TLS. It's not just using normal HTTP. It should have to use HTTPS to protect our data. Number 3 security best practice on cloud is to have regular security audits. Well, if you do have an application that is running on cloud and it's a critical application for you, you have to go through the security audit at least once in every 6 months. You have to go through the IAM users to see if you have provisioned any extra privilege to any users. You have to check the controls, the WAF controls, to find out if there is any logs or any sort of alerts that is concerning for you, to make sure that your application is secure enough. You also need to integrate multiple cloud native solution that helps you to detect this sort of unusual behavior. There are a lot of ML based solutions right now in cloud environment where you can integrate your application or environment with that ML based solution, and whenever there is suspicious activities under your account or your application, you will get notification and alerts. So please use that, because on cloud you are just depending on a third party to protect your data. So you really have to act smart to make sure that your data, your application is secure on cloud. Security best practice number 4 on cloud is to have proper patch management system. Well, on cloud most of the time we're using infrastructure as a service IaaS. So whenever we deploy an application, we use maybe some servers, and for that the AMIs, we use the cloud provided AMIs. So we feel pretty secure that is provided by cloud provider, so it's pretty secure. But most often they provide us the patches, and we ignore those patches. A very bad practice, because if we don't patch our servers or any sort of services where patch is available, we are making a big mistake. Then our application, our critical application that we are deploy on cloud are in a risky state. So please do the patches. Even if we are using a platform as a service where everything should be managed from the cloud provider side, even though in that case we need to be very proactive and notice that whether the cloud provider is doing all the patching everything that is required, because it's our responsibility. For some reason, if your application gets any sort of security breach or any sort of problem, then you will be the only responsible. So please guys, whenever you are deploying your application on cloud, be very concerned about the patches. Security best practice number 5 on cloud environment: to have a proper disaster recovery plan. I can't emphasize enough how important to have a proper disaster recovery plan. Well, the first initial phase of having a disaster recovery plan, to have a proper backup system. So on cloud, whatever resource you are deploying, make sure you are doing a backup, because here you are not handling the infrastructure. So backup is your ultimate friend. Well, why do we need the disaster recovery plan? Because just think about it. You have deployed your application in a single region, and all of a sudden you are seeing that the whole region is down. So what does it mean? That means your application is also out of service, and now you do have a lot of customers they're complaining about the application is down. But if you have a proper backup and you have transferred those backup, replicated those backup in another region, you can use your backup data and make sure that you can replicate the same architecture in the secondary region so that your application can be served again. And for that, you need to have a proper DR plan. So it's always funny, like most of the time people just create a disaster recovery plan, but they never test it. So unless you don't test it, you don't know if during the disaster event, whether your disaster recovery plan is good enough to make sure that you can utilize all of your backup data and replicate all the infrastructure in a secondary region. So first phase is to have a DR plan, and the second phase is to continuously test your DR plan to make sure it's a plan that is working. Security best practice number 6 on cloud is to do the vendor security risk assessment. So most of the time what happens that we focus on our security aspects, like how we're securing our cloud environment, but we forget that we also need to we need to make sure the vendor that we're using are also secured. Because just remember one thing, that is your security as strong as your weakest link is. So if your vendor with whom you're sharing your resources, your cloud resources, you're integrating it, if the vendor is not secure enough, then it's a problem for your infrastructure too. So for that reason, whenever you are integrating with a new vendor, you need to do a security assessment of that vendor. For that, the first thing that you can ask from the vendor is, could you please give us your SOC report? So from there, it will prove that your vendor has gone through the SOC requirements, and then they received a attachment that yes, their environment is secure. So it's a very good package. Besides that, you can also come up with your own checklist, that whether you follow the proper encryption, do you encrypt your data at rest, do you encrypt your data in transit, and some other aspects. So if you do that, then definitely it will enhance the security part of your cloud environment. Number 7, the last security best practice on cloud environment is to go through some compliance and standard. So it's very important to go through this standard and compliance certification process for your cloud environment or your application. So if you are in health industry, you need to make sure that your application that you deploy on cloud is HIPAA certified. If you are holding some customer credit card information, that you need to make sure that your application is PCI DSS certified. There are also some other certification like ISO 27001, then there is SOC 2. So there are tons of certification and compliance that you really need to go through. So when you pass this certification and you get attestation from a third-party auditor that your application is secure, it helps in two ways. First, it makes sure that your environment, everything is pretty secure, and the second thing is it helps with the reputation. So whenever you do business with some other customer or any other vendor, you can assure them, yes, we are SOC 2 certified, we are ISO 27001 certified. So in this way they will trust you more and you will get more business. So here you have it. So now I have listed down the top 7 security best practice on cloud in 2023. Well, just remember one more thing, that is security is an ongoing process. So once you have this thing under your belt, you really need to continue it, because you can't just say, hey, we have achieved it. You have to spend time, you have to do the audit to make sure that your environment is secure. If you have any questions or any confusions related to the topics that I covered today, please let me know under this comment section and I'm going to reply back in a very short period of time. Well, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can see my upcoming videos. I'm planning to upload a lot of videos related to cloud security, cyber security, and IT career advice. So please like and subscribe, guys. Well, if you want me to cover any specific topic related to IT, let me know in this comment section and I'm going to cover that for you. Well, that's all for today. Have a great and wonderful day.